Hi, it is Tuesday. I haven't recorded anything this week yet since practice. It's almost 3:30. I'm prepping my juice for my fourth meal. So I usually would stay at work to do cardio after I'm done for the day. Today I did not. Hazel is here, and so we co-parent her. So I wanted to get home to have some snuggles with the pup before she heads out for a week and a half-ish, probably maybe until Easter. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, I ended up going to the gym here, which I don't do often, to do my cardio today. They have Peloton treadmills. I have never been on a Peloton treadmill before. It was really nice. Very smooth, and I enjoyed it. I will do cardio because I know for my health and longevity, I need cardio. Cardio is not my favorite thing in the world. I program it. I speak to it because I know it is important for our heart and lung capacity. It is a necessary part of my process as well right now. And so we did it. It's very minimal. I should not complain. I'm complaining because I had to get off the couch with Hazel and I did not want to. But my cardio right now is only 2 times a week, 20 minutes. I walk at a 10% incline, and I am starting to work up my capacity at that. And so today I did it at 3.5 miles per hour for 20 minutes, and that's that. So I do cardio on Tuesdays and I do it on Fridays. So it's not that bad. And now I'm getting ready. I'm prepping juice for this meal, but I have this is like mega week for me at work. We have a 60-day challenge that's kicking off. I have a very big team of people that I am working with, which I'm so excited to help other people work on their goals as I work on mine. So I have 20-ish people, give or take a little bit right now. So I'm going to be meeting with almost everybody this week in the next few days. But tomorrow, which I'm very excited for, being trained on new metabolic assessment equipment that we have coming in. So wildly excited to get certified on this new, I assume it's a new platform. So we used to do active metabolic assessments at Lifetime, and then our equipment went down on it. So we haven't done them in a while. So if you've never done this, it gives you your VO2 maximum, which is a longevity predictor. So huge on that side, but also it tells us your heart rate zones. So heart rate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hugely important if you're taking any kind of heart rate based interval training, but also just be very specific about what your goals are and where you are going to be more efficient. Because when we work higher heart rate zones, you do not burn fat efficiently, and so knowing and understanding those zones is imperative to any performance-based plan. But regardless of having a performance-based plan, just being aware of where you should be. If you didn't know this, you can customize them on Apple Watch as well. If you ever have questions, I have links I can send you on that side. So anyways, tomorrow I get certified, but that means I'm going to be at work for like 11 hours. So I am prepping food for tomorrow. So I'm getting my juice ready now. So my meal 4 is 3 ounces of ground turkey. I will do some kimchi with it. And then I also have a green juice. So my green juice is celery, cucumber, spinach, green apple, turmeric, ginger, lemon. And then I add black pepper. I don't know why I thought I was forgetting something. I do this frequently, like make this juice, so I shouldn't. But I'm about to make this. So it'll take me, now that I have all my vegetables cut and ready to go, I'll swing you around here so you can see what I got going on. So you can see all my veg. I put it into this right here. This is a cold pressed juicer, and this will give me it'll give me 2 days worth of juice today and tomorrow. I zoomed out a little so now you can see me more too. And I'm sporting my Allison shirt because she's getting ready for the UK, and I'm excited to watch her girl get after it. So that's it. That's the update. There is not too much else beyond that. We're gonna make some juice, eat some turkey and some kimchi, and then I'll have dinner in about 2.5 hours, and that'll be my last meal for the day. So that is where we're at. Tomorrow's a rest day, so it falls well with going through active metabolic assessment training, because I'm assuming I'm gonna be sitting and listening to a lot tomorrow. So I'm happy that it is a true rest day, because Thursday I've got a lift. I have a lift and I have routine practice on Thursday, and so it's a rest day in the middle of my week. So we are ready to go. Hi, it's Wednesday. I am almost home. I'm living here. I am almost home. It is almost 3 o'clock, which means I get to go home and I eat right away, my meal 4. So I had a long day at work, but for the best reasons. We went through active metabolic assessment testing, and I'm excited because first off, I work at Lifetime. If you did not know this, I wear a lot of hats at Lifetime. And one of those hats that I wear is I am a technician for metabolic testing. And I'm excited about this because we've had it in the past. It went away for a little bit because of some software issues. It's back, and now it's wireless and it runs off of devices. Like, we do not need an actual desktop. So if you have done this in the past with me, you don't have to be hooked up to a computer. You are all hooked up, and the analyzer sits on the back side of your head. It's a very cool technology. And on top of that, not only are we getting active metabolic testing, we're getting resting metabolic testing. So active metabolic testing helps us accurately know your heart rate zones, because I think a lot of times we don't know that, and then we overwork. And while I know it sounds counterintuitive, your body is more efficient at burning fat when we are in lower heart rate zones, zones 1 and 2. So to know what your zones are is invaluable if you're going through any kind of journey that would involve fat loss. Now, that being said, a lot of devices that you wear on your wrist will give you an idea of zones, but wrist devices, or a ring as well, are known to be inaccurate. Science has shown us this over and over and over again. The accuracy of those cannot be trusted. And so this is one of the most valuable tools that you have to accurately know your heart rate zones so you can work smarter, not harder. 2, it also gives you your VO2 maximum. And so your VO2 maximum is letting us know how much oxygen you are able to consume while you're exercising. And this has a direct link into longevity, and it can help us gauge a health level, a health metric. And so if you've never done this before, you go into any cardio modality that you can tolerate, that you don't mind doing, as much as you're gonna love doing cardio if you're not somebody who loves cardio, but something that you could say, okay, I can, like, if I need to go do cardio because my heart and lungs need to get stronger, this is what I'm going to do. We can do it on anything. That's the cool part. The test will start moderate, easy, and then we are trying to get your rating of perceived exertion as close to, if not to a 10 as possible, because that's what helps give us truly a great snapshot of your heart rate zones and your VO2 maximum. So is it hard? Yes, it is not easy, but reality for most people, you're looking at a 12 to 20 minute test to get you there. And then we get all this data that will show you what your body is capable of doing, where your heart rate zones are, so you know how to train. For me personally, going through competition prep and getting ready for this season of my life, those numbers are invaluable, because again, I have a Whoop, I have an Apple Watch that I wear both during the day. I don't trust that. I mean, I wear them. I've worn my Whoop strap for over 4 years, and I think the data is relatively accurate, but I am not depending on that fully. Last time I competed, I also used a VO2 max test, so I knew my heart rate zones very accurately. And so I will have my personal active metabolic assessment done likely in the next 10 to 14 days, so I know exactly how to optimize my fat burning zones when I'm doing it. And then what I'm even more excited about, we didn't have this before, and I've never had one done. We have resting metabolic assessments. Basically, you sit in a chair for 15 minutes, you do nothing, and it shows us what your metabolic rate is at rest. And this can also start to flag if there are metabolic issues happening. Example, if your cortisol is too high. Perhaps we need some lab testing to figure out why your body is not burning fat while you're at rest and in a fasted state. So resting metabolic assessment needs a 6 to 8 hour fasting window. Active metabolic assessment, you don't need that. You need energy to be able to maximize your output. But the resting metabolic assessment can help us accurately gauge your basal metabolic rate. And so this gives us a better gauge and a better talking point for your nutrition output and any additional testing that can help us help you get to where you want to be. Again, relating it back to what I'm doing, I'm excited to do this on Monday because I will now know how my body's functioning in a rested state. I have had my very thorough lab done in October. I'm going to be repeating these labs. I'll get 60 different labs done in April. I need to schedule that. But I had 100+ ish labs checked back in October, and I'll have them again in April. What's interesting though is cortisol is not well tested with blood. So if you are somebody who might suspect you have elevated cortisol levels, you need to be having a saliva test done, and it should be done 4 times in your day. That's something we do through Lifetime, and I'm excited to speak to these things because we're trying to get you out of functioning in a fight or flight situation and get you into rest and digest so your body can calm down, your body can do what it needs to do metabolically. So again, just resting metabolic assessment can help us with those things. I am so jazzed about this. I love nerding out on the science of all of this. And so it's coming to you if you are around here. If you want to travel in and have this done, I can do it for you as well. But really cool information I will share as it happens. So that was most of my day today. We were in that training for 5.5 hours, and I'm thrilled that we get to start offering it again. So that was the day. I am now home. I'm gonna go eat my 4th meal. So turkey, kimchi, green juice, same. And I relax for the rest of the night. Today's my rest day. And so I very much so rested today. I don't even know what my steps were today. I don't think they were. I'm usually I would get, if I had to give you an average, I'm probably a 13 to 20,000 step a day kind of person, depending on if I have cardio. Closer to prep, that'll be closer to 25,000. Looking at my last preps output, what I was doing. And so I'm going to guess today I was probably around like 6,000. We have not moved much. It was a lot of sitting. So I'm probably just going to clean up, relax, because tomorrow, full work day, I've got a lift, 40-minute lift tomorrow. And then I have routine practice. And I'm so pumped because I know what we're going to do. And I've been, again, record, revisit, sleep on it, let it rest, let it breathe. I knew a change I'm going to make, and I'm very excited because there was one skill in my routine that I was like, I'm going to choreograph it. We're going to do it a different way. It's just, it's kind of made me feel like, if you are in the fitness division and anything makes you feel like that, do not keep it. Do not sit on it. Find something else. Like, listen to that feeling. And I actually went through and watched videos of when I got my pro card, and it reminded me of just some skills that, why I don't do them, I don't know. I just haven't filtered them in. They're not difficult, but you can string them together. And in our division, the more you can string together cleanly, better. So I'm excited because I think it fits this section perfectly. And if it does, I'm even more excited because visually watching this back, it makes me feel excited. It makes me feel fired up. So tomorrow we will report back on that. This doesn't happen terribly often that I'm here, so I get to do this today. So it's just before 2 o'clock and I'm here. So this is the gym that I practice at. My very good friend owns this gym. I'm so proud of her, everything she's accomplished. So this is, I guess I will call it the blue gym, the primary gym. And this is the one I usually practice on. So I'll practice on that back floor, which is a spring floor. I'm standing on a spring floor. Hi, right now. this side as well. And then on the opposite side here, they've actually added and extended the gym. Look at how amazing this is. It's a whole opposite space. The program's really grown. And again, I'm so proud of her. But this floor in back here is dead mat, which is going to be great to be able to get out some time on that this year. This is a spring floor, whole spring floor. And then in that back corner, they actually have a whole gym built out too. So I feel very lucky to have this space. I'm so thankful for it. And also, again, I'm just, it's really cool to see your friends expanding themselves in their careers and like giving a space in our community for so many athletes to show up to and participate in. So if you're in the Michigan area, this is Premier Athletics Michigan, and this is what the facility looks like. Hi, okay, I'm done with practice. I was there longer than I thought I would be. Right now it's 3:50. I ended up, I'm very proud of myself for doing the quarters. Like I said, I can't do math apparently. 20-second sections would be a minute and 20 seconds. My minute 49. So my sections were either 30 seconds or like 25 seconds. Again, I really decided that based on where it made sense to pause and reset the section. So I did exactly like I said I was going to do, 30-second breaks. Positives, in those 30-second, 25-second sections, I hit everything. And I didn't choreograph things I can't do, but when you start connecting skills like this, things can get a little wild. Endurance wise, right? Like we've got 16, 18, 19, 20 weeks out right now. It's a lot of time to work endurance up. I'm not expecting my endurance to be at my top level yet. And so I'm pleasantly surprised with how that went. I'm not saying my heart rate didn't skyrocket. I wear a Whoop strap when I practice, and my Whoop, according to my Whoop strap, my highest heart rates was 175, and so it definitely, and that's like in a 30-second section. To give context, the last time I competed, I do keep my Whoop strap on when I compete because I wear it underneath. I'll always have arm covers because I wear wrists. And my max heart rate on my routine on stage is about 175. So we'll get there. It's just, you know, the more you do it, the better your endurance gets. Anyways, sections were good. I'm proud of myself for getting through all of it today. Depending on how I piece this together, I think I probably am going to put my warm-up video before this. So you probably have seen it already. Sped up. My warm-up, which I showed, I don't really have rhyme or reason yet to how I warm up skill. I just kind of feel it out, see how I feel, and just start grooving with it. Those skills weren't necessarily connected the way they are in my routine. It was just like I flow a little bit. As I get closer to probably the 12-week out mark, definitely 8-week out, I'll have a very specific way I warm up my skill set. But right now, I'm not. I'm just feeling it out. The section I wanted to revisit, I'm not loving. And this happens, right? You think in your head it's perfect. You don't know until you put it into play. And it's not that the skills were bad, but one of them, just being very honest, after trying it once, I don't think it's in my best interest for my body to try to push this skill. It's like a jump on to my hands and like a worm roll down. I can do it. I don't think having a reconstructed wrist, it's a wise idea. And so it didn't hurt or anything. I just know I'm gonna overthink that. And so I pulled that, but then I had to replace something else. And anyways, I need to let it breathe a little. I did like fill gap the section, but it's not really hitting it for me. So I'm gonna go home now. I'm gonna take a magnesium salt bath. Those have been really helping post routine. I do like a 30-40 minute soak, and I think it's really helped my recovery. My hip feels tight today, my left hip. And so I just want to make sure that I'm taking care of my body, just listening to it, not pushing too hard. I was able to hit everything in routine. I didn't have any pain or anything. It just feels tight. So I'm going to go take care of myself now. What else with practice? I think that was it. Like I said, it was good. I was just there longer, but nobody was in the gym. So it was nice because I could just blast my music and run my sections. After I ran my sections, I kind of step away. I record on an iPad. I'll watch it back on my iPad. I like to step away from it so I can kind of see a broader picture. I don't need to be in my own space, like right here watching it. Sometimes I think it's good to see it from different vantage points because it helps me get perspective of how I'm moving on the floor. And I definitely, this is significant. If you compete in this space, I think most people probably do, but you might not know this. Knowing your stage specs is very, very, very important. Knowing how much depth you have front to back, width of the stage, will help you decide where you need to go. And right now I'm just not loving the movement pattern where I'm at, but it has to do with my starting position. And so if you ever find yourself in that position, like consider just where you start out in stage. I've never started my routine on the ground. I've always started standing. This is such like a small thing, but I've always started standing. I've always started like away from the judges. I'm starting like in their face here on the ground. And so it's much different. It's much different, but I need to set it up like stage right so that my routine doesn't favor so much of the left side of the floor, because right now it is. And also, if you don't know this, when you're performing on stage, stage lights are typically at the front. They're not usually like backlit or lighting it back. And so you can get washed out if you go too far back. And so it's just important to pay attention to what your movement patterns look like. And you should move around stage. Don't stay in one spot. Utilize the stage. So that's the plan. Gonna quick eat, just turkey, kimchi, juice, and then I'm gonna get in the bath. We've got some things to catch up on at home. Just shows nothing crazy. It's been such a busy week at work. I'm just looking forward to turning my brain off a little bit. So that's it. That's Thursday. So we will chat later, but good practice today to report back on. It is Friday. Nope, it is not Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Saturday. Yep, it's Saturday. I'm done with work. Oh my gosh, I'm done with work for the week. So it's Saturday, it is 1 o'clock, and it's just been an overwhelmingly busy week, and it's going to continue to be that for a couple weeks. As I mentioned yesterday, it's just a lot of sitting and talking and mapping out goals, which I love to do. And I feel like I'm proud of myself, personally speaking, for staying very organized as I'm going through this to ensure that I'm giving everybody my full attention and giving them the guidance and accountability that they're going to need, and really giving everybody a community to come into. And so one of my favorite things about doing these challenges and what we have going on once again is we have a big WhatsApp group, and it serves as communication for everybody. So sharing wins, sharing what works, what doesn't work. I share what's happening going on the week. I share my story, what I do on my side, and really just hope to keep everybody like aligned for 8 weeks, regardless of goal. Here we are. This is where we're going. So it was cool today because we had our kickoff event. So we did have a handful of people from my team there, and they got to meet each other. We did a little meet and greet. Fun fact about you. So faces to names. All that being said, though, not tired, but like a little exhausted. And so I am driving home now. Wins from the day. First off, I showed earlier because I'm not the best with always showing how I go about my day when it comes to food. I'm gonna probably eventually do a day of eating, what that looks like on my side. And yeah, I will do that at one point. So I showed that. But a win from the day, beyond meeting with all these incredible people and being able to coach a very big workout for them to kick off this weekend. When I came in first thing this morning, so I am also doing a 60-day challenge alongside all of my newest best friends that are going to be a part of this with me, because I'm obviously on my way to competing this year. So what a great time to be a part of this as well. I do not like to jump on InBody more than every 4 weeks. I think it's obsessive, and I don't think, especially as a female in her cycling years, I have done week-to-week scans, and I can tell you very consistently for me, my scans are all over the place depending on where I'm at in my cycle. So I know when is the best time to read, which is typically right after my period. So that being said, I did my initial, here's my prep starts 2 weeks ago, literally 14 days to the day. And so today I did another because this is the kickoff of our challenge. So I, again, would not usually do this at the 2 week mark. But the cool thing to see, and I didn't really have an expectation, but it was neat to see over 1 pound of muscle gained and over 2 pounds of fat lost. And that's thrilling to see in 2 weeks, that kind of 3+ pound overall change. And it just is a testament to what consistency will do for you, because I would argue I am training less when it comes to weightlifting than I was previous. I'm being smarter with my training plan. I'm doing all this on my own until I get to Rael's hands, which will be, we're in communication, but I won't have my first call with her until the middle of May, and then she's going to be on board with me through June and July. So I'm doing this on my own before that, using what we did last time as the blueprint. And so it's very exciting to see that kind of change in just 2 weeks. And what that tells me is it is working. It means, if I break that down, about 1/2 pound of muscle gained over the two, each week, and a little over 1 pound of fat lost on each week. And I think that really, again, is a testament to we are on the right track. What we're doing is working. Change nothing, no notes, nothing. And so I'll continue to do that. And this is really how my prep went last time around, is once I got to Rael, what was interesting, and again, she's very, very big on health and longevity, and not just the now, but 10 years from now, what is health going to look like for you and living in this body for the rest of your life? She actually, when I had gone to her, I remember being a little shocked that she had bumped up what I was doing already. I was expecting to see more of a calorie deficit or just more manipulation of my macros. And as I mentioned, we don't really do that. It's a lot more intuitive with some parameters. And she actually had built in more food into my life. And then we stayed there for 8 weeks. We didn't have to touch a thing. Where I started to where I ended, nothing. We same. I think we bumped up cardio by 5 minutes at one point, and that was it. And then by the end, we pulled it back. So the process worked really well last time, and your body changes every time you do this. It can be a bit different. I'm a little bit older now. I'm coaching differently, different classes. My work schedule is different, but again, I'm trying to be very intentional. And big philosophy that I believe in, and I apply this to myself, but also anybody I work with in coaching in the fitness route, general fitness, not fitness competing, is let's look at food for a second. What's the most amount I can eat in a day and still see the change I want to see? The most. We want to live there for, again, your health, your longevity, all these things. When it comes to exercise, and I'm not trying to say that we don't want to, you want to get cardio in for heart and lungs. We need to lift for longevity and keep our muscles strong. But what's the least amount of movement I can do to maintain or work on the goal that I want to be at? And so that's how I approach this, is not as well as the most when it comes to output. What's the least amount on the output? What's the most amount on the nutrition side? So that's, and that might be a mindset shift if you've never really approached it that way. And it's just something that I really appreciated when I went to Rael. She actually was like, listen, we're gonna bump up output a little bit, but we're also gonna bump your food up a lot. And then I was able to stay there. I hope it gets there again. My weekly plan does at the moment include weekly, Rael calls them boost meals. I like to refer to them as treat or a reset meal. It's like it's just a mental break from the monotony of this is what we're doing every day. And again, going back to how I approached this last time around, it stayed weekly until I started with Rael, and then it went to every 10 days. And then it turned into, I want you to take it when you feel you need it. So this is learning more intuitive based. I probably skipped my boost meal 2 to 3 times, meaning I didn't actually feel like I needed it. It's not even I think sometimes it might sound a little wild to hear this, but when you have a goal set, unless I absolutely felt like I was having a craving or I just need that mental reset moment, do I need to take it? If I'm doing okay, I don't feel the need to go grab anything in the pantry. I don't feel the need to pick at things when I'm making food. I'm on the right path. Don't take the boost meal then. Don't take the treat meal. So that's kind of how we treat it as we're getting closer to. And again, the cool fun fact about my last prep, I went to a wedding the week before I competed. I'm pretty sure it was the weekend before. I'm almost positive it was the weekend before, but it was, you're cleared to go have wedding food, eat a little cake, obviously be mindful, don't stuff your face, but it was just nice to know I was locked in at that point where yes, be a part of life at this point. And so again, my hope is to continue down that path. Knowing that what I'm doing is working does mean for my personal goal of where I want to be and where I think I will compete best, I'm probably a little bit ahead. I'm not putting it on coast though. I will let Rael decide that when I get to her. So my job right now is to get myself slowly conditioned to the best of my ability. And then when I hand it over to her, she starts to drive that more and will let me know where we go. What I do think is interesting to point out relating to competition world here, I was watching my practice videos from my last several preps. I keep everything. There is a very, very clear drop in my performance level when my body fat goes to single digits. And I think for me, this is going to have to be a trade-off discussion of what is worth it. If I know that I cannot deliver the same amount of energy, power, and endurance that I can by holding maybe just a pinch more body fat, in my opinion, I want to take the sacrifice. I will take the hit. To each their own on that side. But again, looking at our score sheet, knowing how it's weighted, I don't see the return on investment on trying to gain one placement when the routine is weighted much heavier, double the amount of the first round. And so, again, these are discussion points I will have with Rael as we start to get in there. Is obviously we'll see how I'm performing, but I could visually see the drop a couple weeks out from my show on the last one and the one before that. And so I just think it's really important to know if you're competing in fitness, there's a line you got to toe, and you have to know your own body. And I do think there's something to be said about going through this process several times over and understanding that, because as I've gone through, and I think probably most people, you learn how you need to show up a little bit more, especially on the physique side. But then once you start to understand where you need to show up, it's understanding your body enough to know, like, okay, when I hit here, I just don't perform as well, and I'm not as fast, and maybe I need more recovery time, and I have to believe there's a happy medium in there where I can show up and still be very competitive on a physique size as a natural athlete, but also definitely more than hold my own on the routine side. So those are my takeaways from today. So I'm excited. Again, nothing changing. So I brought up the boost meal because tonight is that we are going out to, I don't know what city it's in. I think it's Bloomfield. Maybe. If you're from Michigan, I've never been to the Somerset Mall, so we're going there, and then we're going to Ocean Prime for dinner tonight. So I'm excited to have some steak tonight, and then tomorrow is routine practice. So that's it. That's Saturday. I am on my way to practice now, and I'm excited. We had such a nice night out last night. Dinner was fantastic at Ocean Prime. I ended up getting a steak and Brussels sprouts, but we shared before dinner. We shared it was an ahi tuna and salmon roll, sushi roll. I wish I could remember everything else that was on it, but it was one of their menu items. It was so good. I haven't had when I say great sushi, I mean we haven't gone out and had sushi in a long time, which sushi, basically once I get into like the thick of prep, so probably in the next like 4 weeks, my boost meals, my treat meals, really the only two I ever take, at least the last couple of times I've prepped now, will be sushi is high on my list. I just don't do any tempura rolls, so everything's just fresh. And then like burger fries, and Rael always did allow me a small dessert with it, and so it really depends if I feel like I need it. Last night, no dessert with boost meal. So anyways, all that to be said, I haven't had sushi in a while, and then we shared a lobster bisque, which also haven't had. I think we tried one when I did a High Rocks in Chicago, which it was okay. This was so far beyond that. It was good. So overall, meal was fantastic. So morning today, and now I'm thrilled to be walking into practice. So a couple things about practice today that are going to be a little different. While I am excited, up until Thursday this past week, I've been making my routine, and that's great. It just means I wasn't like doing runs consistently and pushing my body a little bit more. Thursday was that. I mentioned I do 3 rounds of, I'm doing quarters of my routine right now. So about 30 seconds, 30-second break, do it again, break, do it again. So it's 3 rounds of that. And then I do a 3-minute full on rest, which usually means I'm watching back the section. And then I move to the next section, do the same thing 3 times. So all in, following that format, I'm done, because I don't count the last 3-minute rest. I'm done with my routine runs and like the nuts and bolts of my practice when it comes to getting that done quickly, efficiently in 21 minutes. And then that leaves me time to, after I get done with my last, I do take a longer break and I review everything. And then I go back, and now we're gonna hone in on the little skill parts. So like, where does it look forced? Where do I look tired? Let's drill those a bit. Today I do need to play around with that last section that I keep toying with. Basically I need 5 counts, and I'm in a plank kind of. I've like lifted and I've like, and so I just need to see what I can transition there, and then how to get out of it where it fits. There's this like big moment where everything stops in my music, and I'm not quite sure how I want to get to that point and make it dramatic. Like it should feel like a, oh, and then it keeps going. It's like a half a second, but it deserves its moment. So I'm gonna work on that. Let me rewind a little bit more. So I did this on Thursday where I was really focused on my rounds rest. I did that for the first time. Oh my gosh, am I sore? I was sore before, but now, like, this is 17 steps further. When I say sore, so when a couple things are sore in my body. One, my ankles so much. And I feel like I do a good amount of ankle mobility work. I just think all the jumping, and especially because I have a lot of, I have a couple kip ups in my routine. I think that landing is a little bit more intense, meaning like the way I have to maneuver my ankles around to catch. It's just very deep. And I mean, I don't want to say it feels like I sprained my ankle, but it's like that soreness around there. It's not as bad as it was the last several days, but it's still lingering. So I've got that. My adductors are like tight. Today, again, much better than it has been, but they are tight. And then I mentioned last Sunday, I had tried like a newer skill to open my routine, but the way I have to hold the straddle hold really makes my hip work in a way it hasn't. And so I thought I straightened my hip last week, and today it feels fine. So I think it was just like pushing a little bit more than my body was used to doing. So the point of that being though, today is I'm going to do my runs, but I'm going to be a little smarter with how I'm doing stuff, meaning I'm not going to be focusing on throwing every skill today. It's just not smart. I want to honor my body and like me. It's like just one more. That is me and my personality, and that goes back to being 6 years old, 7 years old, and learning to baton twirl and staying out in my yard until all hours to get better. Like I've always been like that. And so it's hard for me to say, no, Melissa. I get a full name to myself when I'm being strict with myself. No, Melissa, not today. Like, you're going to do your runs. My intention is to do 3 rounds, watch it back, and then I'm going to do 1 single run with skill work, providing my body is not feeling any kind of ache or pain. I'm going to do 1 round following those 3. So just a slight tweak to it. And then I will get into training the skills that I can without, again, it depends on how my body feels. If I'm feeling like not great after the runs, I will call it there. I'll stretch for a little bit, but also you shouldn't overly stretch muscles that feel strained. If you didn't know that, when you feel tightness in there, don't stretch it. Let it rest. It needs to calm down before you start stretching it. Very common misconception that can lead to further injury, and certainly has on my side. So anyways, that is the plan for practice today. So I'm pulling in now. I'm excited. We'll see how today goes with how my body feels. I feel good right now. I just want to play this in a really smart way. I didn't want to not show up today. Like, that could have been an option. It could have been, let's just skip today, safer for my body. But I also think my body needs movement. And, you know, I hold myself to a very high standard when it comes to how I'm going to be performing. So I'm not going to miss practice. I'm just going to adjust the plan a little bit. So we'll chat after. I'm going to jump in here. The gym's pretty empty. There's only 1 car. So I expect I'll probably be on full floor for my runs at least. And then we'll regroup after. Okay, I'm done with practice. It's almost 1:30, so it's a little bit later than I had planned on, but it went well. I ended up, once I warmed up, my body felt pretty good. So you could tell when I watched my routine runs back, like I'm pulling back, but I didn't negate anything beyond the few things I haven't been doing just yet. So that was great. There's a new burger place here. I can't wait to try it. As I'm driving around. So anyways, I am happy with that my body felt well. Runs went well. It's definitely, I mean, it's always humbling when you get to this point where it's, whew, we gotta get endurance up. My heart rate's highest I went today was 180. And it's not easy to rest 30 seconds and then go again when your heart rate is there. But when I would take my 3, so I do look at my heart rate and how it responds. If you take class with me, I've been coaching a lot to this point recently. When we come out of any like zone 3, 4 work, how quickly can you see your heart rate come back down to zone 2, zone 1, depending on what we're doing, even in active recovery efforts. I look at training this way the same way. So I get 3 minutes of rest before I'm going to do my next full section. How low am I getting my heart rate? How well am I responding and recovering? I could probably get it a little bit lower if I would, I think I can look here. I would probably get it a little bit lower if I just sat, but I don't love sitting between my runs. I like to stand. I like to watch my routines back. So we get down to like 130-ish, and then it'd be time for my next section. Which 130 for me is still zone 1. According to what I have now, I'm going to do a metabolic assessment likely in the next 2 weeks. And while it's not, listen, like it's different depending on modality, but generally speaking, it'll help me kind of know my zones a little bit more specific. Anyways, just hard. Like it gets hard. It's, you know, you're breathing hard, you're breathing heavy, but it was good. I'm a little, I'm still just this one section. I'm getting closer on it. It's just, I'm not loving it yet, but again, this is the process as it continues to chip away at it and see. I have it spliced together, so I'm gonna go back and watch the next couple days. Probably see what Matt's reaction is when he watches it. I like to weird. I like to see like when for the first time when I know somebody's not ever seen my routine. I'm watching their reaction because I want to see the moments like, oh, well, yeah, cool. To me, if that's like a random person doing that, that's what people are gonna do, and those are moments I'm searching for. So, and I feel like this part that I'm messing around with, I think there's an opportunity there, and I think I just need to take a little time to look at some skill sets and maybe what I can work in with a transition. So anyways, though, it was good. I feel good. I feel better walking out today than I did on Thursday in terms of like how my body feels. So that's great. I'm going to it's called the Old World Olive Oil Company. Old World Olive Company, rather. I'm in Plymouth, so if you're in Michigan. Here's a hack to how I go about prep, but also let's make cooking fun. I enjoy cooking a lot. Spices, oils, vinegars, they add a lot to dishes that tend to be a little bit more on the plain side, especially with what I'm going through. And so this Old World Olive Company has cold pressed olive oils, first cold pressed olive oils, but they have flavoring in them, and it's not added flavor like added sugar, but there's one that's a porcini mushroom that is just so good. And the best part about my nutrition plan is olive oil is very much so a part of it from start to finish, and it'll start being a bigger part in the next probably month and a half, 2 months. But I am stopping here because I love their olive oils, and I want to start bringing in some different flavors to the same. The best part, that being said, is today when Matt and I were talking, he had told me, he's like, I'm really like enjoying this. He's eating what I am eating, bigger portions, but he's choosing to flavor it a little different. But I try to add what I can, and like he'll ask me, he's like, can you do that? And so he's learning with me how to tackle this. But I told him today, I said, I want to get some different ways that we can make the food exciting. And he's like, I feel like it's been great. So that's awesome. But they have olive oils and they have balsamic vinegars. And so for midday making dressings with olive oil, plain olive oil, I'll add balsamic vinegars that do not have sugar added to them for flavor. So there's a bunch that I like, but I really like this lemony balsamic vinegar. So I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna grab that. I'm going to the store here in Plymouth as well that I like to get my meat from, that sources it from local farms. And so we'll get meat for the week. And then I'm home and we are gonna do meal prep for all of my breakfasts and my second meal. I'll cook chicken for the next couple days and just get my life together for another busy week. So that is the update today.